And go. What up, YouTube? My name's Wes, and this is my first video. It's gonna be a book review. I'm trolling. Look at the camera. This is a struggle for me. The screen's over here, but the camera's over there. I'll probably cut this out. I should cut this out. Anyway, book review. Steelheart by Sanderson. Steelheart is a young adult sci-fi fantasy superhero book set 10 years in the future. Basic premise is, 10 years ago, a star rose in the sky known as Calamity. Calamity started giving people superpowers. Calamity rises, like a year later, people get superpowers. Everyone with superpowers is known as an epic. And every epic, without exception, is evil. They destroy the world's governments. They murder regular people without thought. And they rule over people as tyrants, dictators. One of the most powerful, certainly one of the most powerful in North America, maybe the world, is named Steelheart. He's the namesake of the book. Steelheart killed our main character's father. Our main character is David Charleston. And shortly after the epics arrived, Steelheart killed his father in a bank right before David's eyes. That bank was destroyed shortly after, but David survived. And David has spent the last 10 years of his life planning, gathering information, studying the epics, and studying a group known as the Reckoners, who kill epics. Now David has finally caught up to the Reckoners and convinced them to let him join their group. Minor spoiler, I guess. It happened in the first few chapters. I don't think that's a spoiler. And their plan, David's plan, is to kill Steelheart. There's one small, really big problem. That problem is that Steelheart's invulnerable. No weakness. Well, no known weakness. Every epic has a weakness, but they're random. There's all kinds of things. One epic could only be harmed by someone age of, it was 33 or 7, someone of a specific age. One epic, his powers are weakened by beautiful women. They're random. They're completely random. So figuring out what Steelheart's is a tall order, especially considering Steelheart is mega paranoid, super paranoid, and has taken measures to expunge all records of his past in order to cover up possible weakness. You know, just covering his butt so that no one can figure out what his weakness is. Aside from that, Steelheart is also, he's essentially Superman with some extra powers, like he can turn non-organic material to steel. He's impervious to bullets, blasts, explosions, stabbing, everything. Okay? Superman without the kryptonite. And after David convinces the Reckoners to join his mission to kill Steelheart, to let him join them, that's what they have to find out. They have to find his weakness, and they begin formulating a plan. And as for how that goes, what happens, whether they take him down or not, whether they discover his weakness or not, I'll let you, find out if you choose to read the book. Now, my overall feelings on this book, the first time I read this book, I loved it. Huge fan. I really, really enjoyed the book. The second time I read the book, I still loved it. It was great. Awesome book. I totally recommend it. I'm going to jump into some cons first. Just give you the couple things that I would critique about this book that I don't particularly, hold is in higher regard as the rest of the book. And then we're going to jump into the pros and give you a little conclusion. Cons. For one, there's not a lot of exploration of characters other than David. This book is told in first person. and you don't really get to know anyone else other than David. I know a lot of people expect from Sanderson world building. You know, he's kind of famous for that. Not a huge amount in this book, right? So if you're expecting, you know, a vast world that's highly thought out and, you know, subtly explained and just dribbled into the story everywhere, this ain't it, dude. This story takes place in Chicago and only Chicago, now called New Chicago. Other than that, I mean, I don't have too many cons. For the pros is actually going to be one of my cons. David. I love David. I love this story being told in a first-person point of view. I think it's great. I think it's super personal. I mean, just a little bit. I think it makes the story super personal. Like, you're in David's head the whole time. You know what's going on with him. You know how he feels. You get to experience his insecurities, his debates, his determination. And funnily enough, there's a character in the story who David has a massive crush on. But David knows nothing about girls. David has spent the last 10 years of his life, from age 9 to 19, planning, studying, just being completely obsessed with the epics. Oh, fucking earthquake over here. Just completely studying the epics. He never made time for friends or girls or anything like that. So when he talks to this person he has a massive crush on, he's super awkward. The story points out how awkward he is. Hey, what are you doing? Do you want to be in the video? Is that why you're banging on things? Come here. Come here. Say hello. That's Jax. That's my dog. And that's Spyro. That's my girlfriend's dog. Spyro! Say hello. You want me to open the kennel for you? Huh? There you go. There you go. Quit banging on things. Where was I? Oh yeah, it's super awkward talking to this girl. And I think it's funny. Some people might find it irritating. David has a lot of little quirks. I feel like Sanderson took the time to make him interesting. To give him interesting things about himself. As far as the other characters, I said we don't explore them very much. You don't get to know them, but I still think they're really interesting. They feel layered to me, especially like the comic relief character of the story. I think he's great. Like, he says the most ridiculous, eccentric, out there things possible, but it feels like there's another layer. There's something going on. This is what he shows everyone. And then there's something more serious down here. The love interest of the story, she's not super developed, actually. I feel like she's actually one of the weaker character points. Like, her biggest character trait is that she's hot. But at times, she's very likable. She bounces back and forth between being just and very likable. And that's actually explained later on in the story, you know, what's going on. But that's spoiler stuff, can't get into that. There's also, like, a wise character who, it's hilarious because he's a giant, like, buff, black, French dude with a minigun. And he's soft-spoken and, like, wise and kind. And then you have, the leader. He's almost a cliche leader, but he's not really wise. You know, he's more of the football coach type leader with like a troubled past. That's a terrible explanation. He's like Batman. He's like Batman. You know how Batman's all like... That's how he acts. I swear to God, that is Batman in every Batman ever. And if you disagree, you're wrong. I'm Batman. Anyway, got a little carried away there. This book was a lot of fun to read. I really enjoyed the characters, and I think they're why it was fun to read. My first read through of Steelheart, I connected with these characters a lot. I really liked them. My second read through, I noticed the foreshadowing that I feel kind of dumb for not picking up on the first time. Like, just a little bit dumb for not catching this. I'm not a super analytical reader. I don't get super into the, try to read between the lines a lot. But the second time, I picked up on a lot of things. It's one reason I actually really enjoy listening to books a second time, or reading books a second time. There was foreshadowing that was good, and from the beginning, it made the end make sense. I feel like this book also has a lot to build on. There's a lot of possibility. First of all, it's left very open-ended. It's clear there's going to be more books. I already know there are more books. I've read them. I've listened to them. I've completed the series. I'm making another pass-through for these reviews just to get a better feel for them. Overall, Steelheart, awesome book. I loved it. I think you'll love it. If you like a twist on typical superhero stories, you'll enjoy this book. If you like a really personal connection with the main character, you'll like this book. If you like fun, funny books, like I laughed a lot during this book, and I thought it was a lot of fun to read. So if you like fun books, if you liked Guardians of the Galaxy, you'll probably like this book. Like, that's my analogy. If this book was a type of movie, it would be like Guardians of the Galaxy. If you want something more literary, more, what's the word I'm looking for? Thought-provoking. And not to say this book doesn't provoke thoughts, because they do question their actions. And it does kind of make you think. But it's not deep. It's not, it's not like a philosophical book, I guess is the word. Anyway, if those are what you're looking for, maybe skip on it. Come back when you want some lighter reading. Peace. Thanks for watching my review. Leave a like down below. Drop a comment. Let me know what I can do better. I know I keep looking away from the camera. I apologize. I'm gonna have to just block off my screen or something, because I'm recording this on a smartphone. I haven't been able to get a camera yet. I will get a camera, and I feel like that will help the problem. But I know about looking in the wrong place. I know I'm doing that, and I'm doing it a lot. I apologize in advance. Also, remember, this is my first video, so it's probably going to be terrible. And I would appreciate a like and a comment regardless. Peace out, people.